Now tonight we're going to be talking about Facebook marketing. There are simply too many people using Facebook these days to the point where you can ignore it. You used to be able to solely rely upon search rankings to get the traffic that you need, but Facebook has recently been taking over as kind of the more it place to be on the internet. Now, for marketers, Facebook is actually a good thing, in my opinion. It's much different from search engine marketing, but it can offer a lot of really great benefits. The one thing that I like about it the most is that everything really seems to be targeted. People have interests, people like different pages and interact on different pages throughout Facebook, and you can kind of take that information and essentially profile people. You can do this when you're simply trying to attract people for free to your page, or you can also do it when it comes to Facebook advertising. Now, I'm going to be teaching you guys tonight how you can actually get started by creating a Facebook fan page, and then we're going to proceed on from there and get a little bit more complicated with how we can interact with Facebook. And tonight's class is going to conclude with a lesson on Facebook advertising, which is something that I do consider to be completely optional, but I still wanted to teach you my personal strategies and tactics that I actually use with my own advertising on Facebook to simply help you if you decide that you would like to add a little bit of money into a Facebook advertising account to try to boost up the amount of likes and fans and interaction that you can get on a fan page or even a Facebook group. So to begin with here, before I actually get started, one last thing. I typically like to use Firefox as my browser, but when I'm doing Facebook, and especially something that's going to end up including Facebook advertising, I end up using Google Chrome more often because there are some particular features that I will eventually get to towards the end of tonight's class that simply cannot be done in Firefox, at least currently. You have to use Google Chrome to be able to access these features of Facebook advertising. So for this reason alone, I use Google Chrome for Facebook more often than I do Firefox. And I simply wanted to point that out to you guys just in case you happen to be using Firefox or Internet Explorer or something and you go to try these tactics and simply wonder why you might run into problems with them. So with that said, I will go ahead and pull up Facebook. Now, I'm on my own personal account. I have 3 different Facebook accounts that I actually use. They don't all necessarily use my real name. The reason why I have separate accounts is because a lot of people know who I am as an Amazon affiliate and as a developer of Amazon affiliate products and also as a teacher of other Amazon affiliates. So I simply try to essentially hide most of what I do as an Amazon affiliate. And I've always done this since I got started in product development back in 2010. And the reason why is because people will be pretty brutal, and they'll just go out there and take that website that you spent weeks or maybe even a month building, and they will rip all the content off of it and register the .net domain version of your exact website and just plaster it up there and try to make money off of it themselves. So for that reason, I have simply had to hide my pages and a lot of my websites that I do to simply protect myself and the work that I've put in to build those websites. So with that said, if you have other friends of yours that are on your existing personal Facebook account, you need to consider whether those friends are other Amazon affiliate marketers, and ultimately whether you can really trust each and every one of them. Or else you need to either create a separate account, perhaps using an alias, or you could potentially go into your privacy settings up here in this little gearbox in the corner and make sure that anything that you're doing relating to an Amazon site that you're working on is simply hidden from a particular group of friends that you set up that might be that sensitive group of people that you would not want to know about your site. And that way you could still use your normal trustworthy pool of friends to actually get a little bit of an extra early jump start on your fan page and your groups and things like that. For example, when you create a Facebook group, you are going to need to add at least one friend to it. So you have to have somebody on Facebook that you trust that you can share that with. So just a little bit of a warning to all of you, but also just a more of a precautionary measure, because some of you may be considering using your existing Facebook account to do this, and others may just want to start from scratch and create a new account entirely. So with that said, the first thing that I will be doing tonight is creating a Facebook fan page. Now, I have already created the Facebook fan page for this particular website that I'm building. However, I can still walk you through the process of creating one so you can see how this works yourself. All you have to do to get started is just search Create Page right here and look for the Create New Facebook Page link. This brings you 6 different options. Now, you could technically go through and create your page using potentially a couple of different options here, but you're not really looking to build a fake page that's being disguised as like an authorized page of a particular brand or a specific product or anything like that, because that kind of stuff is not allowed on Facebook, and really it's legal gray territory. So it's simply something that you want to avoid entirely. What you are looking to do here, though, is to create a Facebook page for essentially a company. This company would be your website. So you're creating a website Facebook page. So we're going to be using this company, organization, or institution area here to get this started. Now, the next thing that you have to do is to actually select categories. Try to find something that is as close as possible to what your potential website niche is going to be. But if you can't find something, then there is one option here, retail and consumer merchandise. You can go ahead and select this one. And this isn't necessarily set in stone. I'm actually going to be going back at a later point in time and changing this category setting because it ends up setting up the fan page as a particular type of page, and it doesn't give us access to insights, which is actually demographic information about the people that like our page. So I want to be able to have access to that information on my pages so I could perhaps get more knowledge about who I could be targeting with advertising. So I will later go back in and edit this. So it's not super important to make a perfect selection right away here. Now, your company name, This is actually, it could be your website name, but it's also a different name possibly that you would want to just assign to your Facebook page. Whatever you decide to go with though, make it relational to your niche. You can get search engine rankings pretty easily by using the exact phrase right here as the company name. However, you have to make sure that this kind of follows along in the lines of these Facebook pages terms. One of the main things here in these terms that you have to be careful about, I could open this up for you real quick. Towards the beginning of it here, just the first couple of sections are the main parts that you really need to be concerned with. In this second section here, page names must not consist solely of generic terms like beer or pizza. So you need to make sure that you're not just targeting some generic term keyword phrase. This needs to be very, very specific, and that's another reason why I like to go after the more informational phrases with my target keyword phrase, Down Comforter Guide, for example, because I feel like this is less of a generic term fit to this particular policy here. I've had this, the actual Down Comforter Guide Facebook page up for not horribly long, but over a month now, and it's getting decent search rankings already, and it's simply still there. So it's obviously following these particular terms. But I wanted to make sure to point this out because you can get into trouble and get your pages removed by not following this. So if you've branded your website and gone for something other than just a strict keyword phrase, then you may decide to go for that instead as the company name here. I end up setting these fan pages up to follow a specific website. So 9 times out of 10, I'm simply setting this as whatever website name I've created. So this is going to be Down Comforter Guide for this particular example. Now, once this is actually done, I can actually go through a second time and do this process again for this same page because it's already created. However, in the guidebook for tonight, there are pictures of the couple of brief steps that are involved after this point to the point where they actually allow you into the fan page, which is where I'm going to jump to in just a second here. But really all you have to do is just provide a brief description and a website URL, and then you need to select what your Facebook web address is going to be. So I picked mine to be facebook.com/downcomforterguide because obviously this fits with my company name. So that would be my recommendation for yours as well. Whatever you decide to go with for your company name, try to get that as your Facebook URL. But once you set that, you're not going to be able to change it. But other than the URL for your Facebook page itself, pretty much anything else that you're setting here, you can go back later and make some changes to this stuff. So that Facebook web address is really the one thing that you have to pay special attention to and make sure you get it correct the first time around. The second step that you have to go through after this point just involves uploading a profile picture, and then you're pretty much ready to go. They ask you to add some favorites, but you can skip along through that step and simply jump straight into your page. Now, I'm going to go over here to, oops, this is the app that I have set up for this page, which I will actually be getting into talking about in just a minute here. I have to search for it. Okay, so now I am on my Facebook page. This is essentially what you will see after you proceed through the quick little process that I was not able to show you guys because it won't allow me to create a duplicate page under the same name. So once you get to this point, there are a number of things that I am looking to do, but the first of them is to click on this Edit Page drop down right here and go to Edit Settings. This takes me to an area where I can actually alter a lot of the information that I just provided during the initial setup. I click on Page Info right here, and this shows me the name of my page, the page address, and then I have this category right here. Now, as you can see, I have this set to websites and blogs, and then I have picked a niche-related type of website that is associated with whatever niche it is that I'm targeting. So for Down Comfort or Guide, I've picked Home and Garden website as the subcategory for this. So this is the category selection that I'm talking about. I'm not entirely sure why Facebook does it this way, but they don't offer the same options here as they offered on the previous selection screen. So I make this one change to just this category right here, and this gives me access to the insights because it changes my page from being a community page to actually being a more business page because it's for a particular website. So that particular change is very important. Make sure you're actually set up with that. Now, you have these additional descriptions down here. You have a short description and you have a long description. Make sure you provide as much information as you possibly can here. You can see from my long description that I went through and wrote about 4 paragraphs worth of text. Now, this long description ends up getting shown on not the actual fan page itself, but on an about page for that fan page. But it's still important to have that information there because that page can get indexed by a search engine, and the content that you're providing here in these descriptions, at least initially, is all that a search engine will have to run on when it comes to assigning some kind of ranking to your page. Facebook is already a very established website, even though they're a direct competitor with Google, and Google probably regrets the day that Facebook came around and started getting really popular. Google simply cannot deny the power of the Facebook domain name, and they have to represent that in their rankings. So you get a page up on Facebook like a fan page, and you provide some decent content here in your descriptions, and you're using a related keyword phrase here as your name and your page address, and you can really get up in the rankings for some fairly high competition phrases sometimes without a ton of work, especially nowhere near as much work as building the actual website itself and getting it in the same ranking position. Now, make sure you also provide your website address right here. This does provide you with a backlink to your website. However, it's not going to be a do follow. It is no follow, but Google still takes a look at those, and it's natural for sites to have these no follow links and even quality no follow links. It doesn't get much better than having a link from Facebook. So make sure it's there. If nothing else, it can help to drive some people off of Facebook to your actual website people that are interested in the conversations perhaps that you start up on your page. So once you've provided all that information here, you can go back to your page. Right here in the middle, you see where it says Insights. If it doesn't tell you right here that you need more likes to be able to access your Insight activity, then you need to make sure you go into your settings like I was just showing you and change that category until you're actually designated as a website page. You see right here where it says home/garden website. Before it said community page based on that initial category that I had selected when I was creating this. But this simply wasn't an option in that initial selection, or I would have selected it at that time. So again, this is all to make sure that we get access to these insights. And the insights is a lot of interesting information. They're actually upgrading their system for this and offering even more information for this. So once you get into it, make sure you look around and just see what they have to offer. They can tell you things like whether the people that like your page are more male or female, what age groups they're in, what countries they live in, even what cities they live in, and things of that nature. And this type of information can help you when it comes to your advertising targeting. But then there's also more information in there as far as the engagement goes. It'll when you make posts on your page, it'll talk to you about which ones are getting viewed more and which ones are getting more likes. So you can kind of use that as a way to gauge whether your posts are successful or not. Now the next thing that I am looking to do is I believe I missed one thing actually. There were I wonder if they've just recently changed this. There used to be some topics on here that you could selected, and I would just provide some relational phrases and pages for the topics, but I'm actually not seeing that selection here. Yeah, it's definitely gone. I'm just double checking on that real quick. There is one section talking about topics in the guidebook, which seems to have been removed from Facebook over the course of the last month or so. They are frequently making changes, so I'm kind of not too surprised about that. The topics really were just kind of keyword phrases or tags, though. They're not really that essential, and I also kind of thought they were a little bit confusing and cumbersome in terms of what you're supposed to be selecting there, because it would try to pre-fill stuff for you, and personally I found it to not make a lot of sense. But just to let you know, that portion of the guidebook is still there, but that does not appear to be in existence on Facebook anymore. Now, the last thing that I need to mention to you briefly is use of your Facebook page itself. You have this little status poster down here. If you're familiar with a personal Facebook page at all, then you're probably already familiar with this. With possibly a couple of exceptions, you have this new offer and event thing. They allow you to create offers for your page once you reach 50 likes. But beyond that, this is pretty similar to the personal Facebook poster. You just simply talk about relational subjects to your website, your niche, and the products that are within it. And you want to try to engage conversation. Don't always try to sell something. That's not the point of every single post. The point is to get people to start following your page and to interact with you, to make comments on it. And this gets them to build up that level of trust with you, and they're more likely to go on and take a look at your actual website, or take a look at perhaps a product that you recommend down the road, as long as you're doing it on a very occasional basis. Now, the next thing that I would like to go into is Facebook app creation. And the reason why I want to show you Facebook app creation, it's not to teach you how to build an actual Facebook app. We're not going to be like creating a game or anything of that nature here. The reason we're creating a Facebook app, though, or need to at least learn the basics of it, is to connect this Facebook fan page to our actual website that we're building. What we want to be able to do is, whenever we make a post on here, we want to have that information showing up on our website as well. And we also want to have a place on our website where people can like our Facebook page and make it easier to interconnect all of that. So this will help to essentially take some of that traffic off of your website and to make them into potential customers that you can have recurring contact with through Facebook itself. Because when somebody likes your Facebook fan page, then when you make new posts here, they will actually see those posts in their news feed. So you get more recurring constant contact type of traffic this way, and can build it not only off of Facebook itself, but build it from the traffic that your website receives from other sources too. So to get started with connecting all this to the website, again, we need to build a basic Facebook app. And this is done up here through this gear icon. You just click on Create App right here. And I'm sorry. I actually always just go through this Manage Apps page. I don't know why they set it up, but that last page for the Create New App, it's actually pretty confusing. It's really hard to find where there you can actually get to creating a new app. But from this Manage page, you have a Create New App button right here in the top-hand corner of the page. So I always prefer to go in through the Manage Apps page instead. So what I'm going to be doing here is creating a Facebook app. But again, this is just basic information. As you can see, this app actually already exists in this account, but I'm going to simply start this process here of creating a new one, because this is really all that there is to do to creating this app. I'm going to provide the app with a name. You can say the same name that you picked for your actual Facebook fan page, or you can call it something slightly different, or even call it, Down Comforter Guide app. It really doesn't matter. The actual namespace right here, as you can see if you hover over the question mark, this is a URL. So you're picking something similar to your fan page, where it would be facebook.com/whatever, except this time it's going to be apps.facebook.com/ and then whatever you provide here. So this would be the URL. So I simply selected Down Comforter Guide. As you can see, this says failed because I have actually already claimed this particular namespace for apps. Once somebody claims one, then you would have to pick a different one. But you could also just punch in a random letter or number sequence onto the end of it, for example. Just by adding an A there, it made it available again. So the next thing you need to do here is to select your category. all we're going to do is select apps for pages right here. And then after that, we click on the continue button. Now, I'm actually going to click on cancel because, again, I have already done this. However, this is all I was really going for, and technically, I don't even need to record this. However, if you ever download some kind of Facebook plugin, there's a lot of both free and paid ones out there that try to interact with Facebook fan pages and things of that nature. They will ask you for an app ID. If you ever need to get that, this is where to find it. After you've created the app ID here, you could just take this number and punch it back into the plugin, and it can go to work for you. But with the way that I'm going to do this, I'm actually going to show you guys how to do this manually. And the reason why is because a lot of the plugins and stuff that are out there, since Facebook is essentially evolving really, really fast right now, and by, one feature being removed in the course of a month since I wrote an ebook is, just proof in the pudding there that Facebook is constantly changing things all the time. So if you get dependent on a particular plugin, especially if it's a free plugin that you just download from, searching through WordPress or whatever to get it, then if Facebook makes a major change and it breaks whatever it is that you are depending upon, and you don't know how to take care of it yourself or how to set it up yourself, then you can really find yourself kind of lost and maybe even in a bit of trouble, maybe having to hire somebody to fix the problem for you. So I wanted to simply show you how to do all this from scratch so you can apply this to any given type of situation and use it in whatever way you feel like will work best for you. Now, one last thing here, make sure your sandbox mode here, make sure this is set to off or disabled. If sandbox mode is turned on or enabled, then this will not all work correctly for you. That would only make it work correctly for you, but not for other people. So we want to make sure that this is off, so this makes this publicly usable. So now the next step here is we're actually going to now go and link all this together, and we needed this app set up first to be able to do this. What we're actually going to do is to manually create a plugin. I'm going to go to a new page here. This is developers.facebook.com/docs/plugins. I have this link in the guidebook as well. This page right here is a page that you can go to take that app ID essentially that you just created and get working code that you can then take back to your website and use to have everything integrated for you. And there's a bunch of different options. All of these different social plugins right here are options that you could consider using on your websites. So I would encourage you to browse through them and see which ones you might want to add in addition to what I'm going to be showing you this evening. Because they all essentially work the same way, more or less. You're just providing Facebook with some basic information, and then you're generating the code, and you're taking that code back to your own website. So to start with here, I'm going to be doing a like box. A like box provides a way for people to not only like my Facebook fan page, but it also gives them a way to see what posts have recently been made, and maybe to even see who some of their friends may be that are already connected to this page. So you have a number of different options here. If you didn't want to show friends' faces, you can make all that disappear by simply unchecking this box here. If you want to show a recent news feed, you just click on Show Post. So you can kind of adjust these different options until you create the type of setup that you're looking for here. If you want to do the full thing, like I have shown on this page, you have this Facebook page URL right here. It's set to Facebook developers by default, but all you have to do is simply change this to your own Facebook page URL. So I can change this to Down Comforter Guide. And when I do this, it'll automatically update. And it'll show people that have liked my page. It'll show posts that I've made. And it'll give people a way that they can actually like my page. And this is all going to be done directly from my website itself. So all you have to do, once you're satisfied, is just click on this Get Code button that's right below it here. And this is going to open up a new window. And the code that you're looking for is right here on the page, but it's split up into two different sections. Now, ideally, this code right here in this top box would be inserted, as it says, right after the opening body tag of a page. This is the JavaScript coding that controls the whole box, the like box and the news feed and the pictures of the people that have liked your page. Well, right after the opening body tag is the earliest point in the page that it can be placed and still work. This is actually preloading the information that will be shown in this box. So then ideally you would want to have this second box of code right here placed on your website wherever you want the actual Facebook like box to show up on your page. However, with WordPress websites, you're sometimes a little bit limited in where you can actually insert code into your site unless you're wanting to actually make some changes to the core code of perhaps your WordPress theme. All the themes work differently. Even with Weaver 2, the theme that I like to use that offers a lot of different places to insert code, I really haven't been able to find one that is immediately after the opening body tag. So I try not to make too much of a fuss about it, and I actually just recommend to just simply paste both of these together. And I will show you exactly where to do that now. I'm going to pull up Firefox over here because I already have the page open. What I am looking to do is create a widget for my website now. I'm going to go to Appearance and Widgets, and then I simply want one of these text widgets right here. So I'm going to click on this text widget, and then I can drag and drop this anywhere in here that I decide to place it. I'm actually going to put it right here in between my Azon accessories and my per page text, which is actually a custom menu. Now, all I'm going to be doing here is pasting all of that code that I was just talking about into this box right here. So let me flip back over to this window here. I want to get this first section of code here. Make sure you have all of it from top to bottom. And then I'm going to paste this into the box. And then I simply repeat the same process here one more time with this second section of code. And then I want to also paste this into the box. Now once this is done, I just click on Save to save my changes, and now my website and my Facebook page are connected together. I'm going to go here and view my website. Now I'm on my home page here to start with. As you notice, you may not see the Facebook thing. And the reason why is because I'm not using a sidebar on this particular page. So I actually need to go to any other page of my website to be able to view this here. As you can see down here below my custom menu, I have this Facebook box showing up right here. Well, there's one minor problem with this. As you can see, this text right here is actually being chopped off, and that's because the width of this Facebook box right here has a minimum width set on it, and I can't really force it to be anything less than 292 pixels. So I have to make a change somewhere else on my site to allow this to actually fit here and show all the information that is supposed to show up right here. So to accomplish this, I'm going to go into the Weaver 2 admin. I'm going to go up to main options here and then down to layout. And all I am looking to do right here is to simply set one particular setting. This is actually most of the way down the page here. It's the only setting down here that is still enabled for the free version. As you can see, all the other ones surrounding it are just for the pro version. This is a default width for the sidebars, and it's actually looking for a percentage right here. So it's not a pixel amount. But if I set this to 33% with this site design here and then refresh my changes, as you can see, that box now just barely fits in and has enough space on my site to show up. So you can simply adjust how much total space on your site this sidebar takes up with this one setting right here by simply using a percentage. So if you needed just a little bit more space than that, you could always go up another percentage point or two until you actually get it to create enough space for you. Now, obviously, as you're stretching your sidebar, you are shrinking the main content of your page. So if you change this drastically, go back through the rest of your site and just make sure everything still looks okay. Make sure nothing's looking out of place, or there's a lot of white space, or things are overlapping, or anything of that nature. Because obviously you don't want to trade this like box here for other problems on your website. But chances are you should be okay with just this 33% setting right here. It's not a major increase. It just creates a little bit of extra room so all of this content in this entire box can fit in the page here. So now whenever you make posts on your Facebook fan page, then those posts automatically show up not only on your fan page, but on news feeds of people that like your fan page, and then it also shows up right here in the sidebar of your website too. So people can actually read more. They can view even more of your recent posts by simply clicking on the Show More button, and they can actually like your Facebook page directly from your website here. And again, this is kind of like a recurring cycle type of thing. You bring in people on your website, they like your Facebook page, and then when you make more posts on here, you're not only building more content for your Facebook page and also making it look better on your website, but then the people that liked your page are also receiving those posts in their news feed and increases engagement with them as well. So there are a lot of different benefits from a lot of different angles here with connecting all this together with Facebook. Now, the next thing that I am going to go on and do for you guys tonight is to show you how to create a Facebook group. Now, a Facebook group in some ways is kind of similar to a Facebook fan page. You're kind of targeting one particular niche, so to speak, but instead of being something where just you're solely in control of it and you're the only person making posts on there, a group is something where you kind of encourage other people to participate even more so in the discussion. So right down here, as you can see, there's a create group link. Just click on this to get things started here. And all you have to do is provide a group name. Now, since we already have a Facebook group that is actually named after our website, I want to go for something different here. It doesn't have to be drastically different, but it just needs to be different in some way, form, or fashion. And this is kind of to help to change up the mood, so to speak. You want to provide a group name with something that is, appealing to other people that are looking at it. People want to look at it, and the people that are actually interested in your niche should see that title and think, there will be other like-minded people here that I might be able to have some discussions with, because that's what you want to actually take place. You want people to be interacting and discussing things in your Facebook group, even without you there potentially, because once you get enough people in it, these things can kind of become self-containing beasts, and they're gaining more and more new members all the time. Members are satisfying other members by posting new content all the time, and you really don't have to do anything, but you're still essentially in control of all of it. And you can prohibit advertising, but still advertise yourself on occasion if you would like to. So a group is a great place to set up kind of a base for more social interaction with other people that are interested in your niche and are potentially interested in the products that you ultimately want to refer sales on Amazon. So for this site, I actually, I've already created this group. As you can see, it's right here. I called it Down Comforter Lovers. I'm looking for people who are, fellow down comforter lovers, because I want them to not just be interested in talking about buying these products or whatever. I just want there to be discussions about them in general. And so I feel like this would be a more descriptive term, but also still keeps it highly relational to my actual niche, down comforters. Now, if you remember me mentioning before, you need at least one friend that you can add to your group if you want to create it. You simply type in their name right here and have them automatically added to the group to get it started, because you can't simply be in a group by yourself. Now, the privacy settings right here. I'm always using this open setting up at the top if this is for an Amazon affiliate group where I want to attract potential customers and have them interacting with each other, people that are interested in this niche. So I don't want this group to be hidden from them at all, and I want new people to be able to easily find it. So I leave it set to open. this allows people to see the group, who's in it, and it even allows them to see the content that is being posted in that group. So they can already see when good conversation is taking place, and once you get your group to that point, they'll be more encouraged to join, and your member count can easily start to skyrocket at that point. So again, just set it to open. There are some other options here. You know, if you wanted to create something where you had an exclusive group of people that, you know, were perhaps paying you some kind of monthly fee, and you were helping to teach them something, you know, you could set up some kind of secret group and just interact with them through that group and keep other people out of it, and also keep the content of it private. But for the most part, you know, you'll want to leave these set to open because you want as many people as possible to be able to find them and join them. So I can actually proceed and create this group because, you know, like I said, I've already done this previously. However, the next step of the process here, it's really quite simple. After you click on this create button, you just have to select an icon. And as you can see, I selected this moon and star icon right here. And I felt like out of everything that was there, it was the most relational in terms of, you know, what I'm going for in this niche here. So if you can find something that, you know, at first you glance at and it at least reminds you of your niche or your targeted product or anything of that nature, you know, go for that. If you can't find something relational, it's okay. Just try to pick your favorite one, but try not to get something that would essentially be misleading to people, because you want them to be able to browse through all this stuff on their favorites list and quickly pick out your group so they would continue returning to it on a frequent basis. Now, once you have actually created the group, after you've selected your group icon, you're brought into your group right here. And all you have to do is go up here to this gear icon once again, and we're going to edit the group settings now. Here in the group settings, you can change basically everything that we just did. You can change your icon if you want to. You can change the name of your group. You can change the privacy. You also have a number of other things that were not previously shown to you, and this is the sole reason why I come to this particular page. First of all, the group address right here. It will have a button that just says set up group address, and all you have to do is click on that button, and then you provide a URL address that will be facebook.com/groups and then whatever URL address you provide. So I typically just go for the name of the group if it's available, and if it's a fairly short name that I'm using. So for this one, I just went for Down Comforter Lovers. So now this is my Facebook group address. So this is the actual web address that people would visit to be able to go to my group page. The next thing that I'm looking to do on this page here is to set a description. The description is shown to your new potential members as long as your privacy is not set to secret. However, in addition to trying to appeal to your new potential members, you also have to think that this is potential search engine content as well, because search engines are going to pick up these Facebook groups, and they'll pick up the content that you put in your descriptions and the content that are in all the posts and comments and everything that are made in this group. So the more relational information that you can provide here, the better off you will be initially in terms of helping to bring more people to your new group. Now, next here we have these tags that we have to set. These tags are essentially just keyword phrases, and you just want to pick some tags that are relational to your niche or possibly to the products that you are trying to promote in your niche, and then people that have liked these particular topics on Facebook. See, as you can see, one of these right here, Pacific Coast Feather Company. Anybody that has liked the Pacific Coast Feather Company on Facebook might be recommended this particular group. So this is also a promotional tool on Facebook itself when you're selecting these tags here. Now, in addition to that, there are a couple of other settings here that I sometimes take advantage of. You have this membership approval, where you can choose to simply allow anybody to add and approve members, or to where only you can approve members. Now, in a lot of circumstances, I will simply use this second selection here to where any member can add members, but I must approve them. But with this particular group, since I want to encourage open membership as much as possible, I will go ahead and leave it completely open to where other people can add and approve people as well. And this can get you to the point where it becomes a self-sufficient group eventually. You do need to get into at least a couple hundred members on your group before that really becomes a reality. But you do have some kind of control over how that type of stuff can work with your group. You also have these posting permissions down here where only you can post in the group, or only members can post in the group. Now, typically you want other people to be able to post in your group because you want them to be able to start up conversations without you. However, if you find that you're in some kind of niche where a lot of people have a tendency to try to spam advertisements, you may need to set your post approval to manual here by simply selecting this checkbox. This allows you to have other people posting in the group, and even other people adding and approving members into the group. But in order for a new post to be made, you must actually approve it. And this will help to weed out a lot of the spam that comes through these groups in most situations. Because then the only thing that's not being approved in that entire group are the comment replies to the posts that are being made. Now, the next thing here, let me get back to the main group page. As you can see up at the top here, I have this cover photo set up. This cover photo can just help to kind of set the mood of your group. It could be just some type of picture that's relational to your niche, but it could also be something that included, text on it as well. There are a lot of groups that get really, really creative with their group photos. However, don't feel like you have to run out there and spend a bunch of money hiring somebody to design some cool cover photo with text on it for you. At least to get started with, just go for some kind of picture relational to your niche. All you have to do is just click on the button up here. Before you upload anything, there will just be like a little picture icon with a green plus symbol on it. Just click on that and you can simply upload a picture, select a certain area of it that will be shown as the cover photo up here. As you can see, the picture I actually uploaded was a larger square picture that showed a decent amount of a comforter, whereas the group photo up here, it's actually just a portion of this photo. It's just a strip kind of right across the middle of it. So, you don't have to be uploading pictures that are exactly the right size for this. Facebook will allow you to kind of adjust that picture after you've actually gone through and uploaded it. Now, once you have all this set up, you have this group URL right here. All you would have to do is copy this group URL, and you could promote this from elsewhere. You could add a link on your website in the menu, or perhaps in the sidebar of your website to attract new members to this particular group that you have created. And that way you can attract new members on your own, but in addition to that, Facebook will also help to bring in new people for you based on the name of the group, the information you've provided, like the tags that you've selected, and possibly even keyword phrases that it can find in the description here. And then as you get more and more people that are actually added to the group, and they are in perhaps other relational groups out there on Facebook, then it'll start suggesting your group more and more frequently as time passes by. So this isn't something that happens overnight with the Facebook group, but it is something that can be helpful down the road, because obviously if you can get a couple hundred or even a couple thousand members built up in one of these groups and have them interacting with each other all the time, becomes a valuable place where you have these targeted leads at your fingertips, and they already have that level of trust built up with you because they've actually got some personal interaction with you that can't really be achieved by simply visiting your website, for example. Now, the last part of tonight's class is going to be covering Facebook advertising. Just to check before I move on to that, does anybody have any questions for me on anything that I've covered so far this evening, as far as setting up the fan page or the group or getting things connected up with your own website? I guess I very briefly mentioned it, but you have a bunch of different other options here with these social plugins. Don't be afraid to try some of these out. You don't just have to use this like box. For example, some people like to try to integrate Facebook registration with their own website registration. This can be done using these social plugins. That gets a little bit more into the complicated aspects of it, but there are a lot of other more simple activities that you could do, like having a place where people can leave Facebook comments on your posts instead of relying on the WordPress system. Last call one more time for other questions before I move on. Alrighty, guys. Go ahead and jump into some Facebook advertising for you. Now, this particular part, again, like I said towards the beginning, I'll pause just for a second for your question there, Salima. How can you protect yourself from someone copying your work? Ultimately, I mean, you really can't. Somebody can always take it and Sure, you could possibly find out what website took it. You can run like copyscape tests on your own content after a certain period of time to see if other websites have taken that content and started using it somewhere else. But in terms of actually getting those websites to remove your content, it may be completely pointless to do. I mean, you can attempt to contact them and simply ask them to do, say, hey, this is my content, and can you please remove it? And sometimes they'll take it down, and other times you'll just never get a reply to it. Pursuing it legally is not really cost effective at all. So I think that is a lot of the reason why that type of thing exists in the marketplace. However, as long as you can be sure that you get your content out there and it doesn't get, immediately stolen, you give Google enough time to index it, and they will know that that content originated with you, because their further finds on that same exact content on other websites, they'll be able to match that up to your content, and they'll know that it's the same. But they'll be able to tell just based on when they have indexed that content which one it actually began with. So in that regard, I don't believe sites will suffer, and at least I've never experienced this personally with my own sites, even the ones where the site was copied over to the .net or .org with the exact same content, but perhaps a different theme maybe to change the way that it looks. I never had any rankings problems with those sites. They still got and maintained good rankings and even still have good rankings to this day. So in that regard, I don't believe that it will hurt you in terms of search rankings and traffic, as long as you just make sure that you don't have people having quick access to everything new that you're doing or things that you're building, as you're building them. You want to make sure you get it out there first before people actually start to find out about it, in terms of the people who might be those that would potentially copy it. You're welcome. Hope that helps out. It is a very gray area. Like, I don't like accepting that fact, but that ultimately people kind of can copy your content and get away with it. But there's not major drawbacks to it, I think, as long as you're careful about it. Now, again, we're going to be jumping into some Facebook advertising now. The whole point of Facebook advertising is to bring in more people. But the question is, where do you want to bring those more people into? You could be directing them to your website to perhaps try to get them to click on Amazon ads on your site and get them to complete sales. But for what advertising costs, even with some of the lower cost per click spots that you can sometimes still find on Facebook these days, I still don't feel like it's very cost effective to try to drive traffic straight from Facebook to pages of your website in hopes of completing Amazon sales. It's more of a long-term investment than that. What you're really looking to do with Facebook ads is to actually build up the amount of likes that you have on your business page, or to attract new people to your Facebook group that you have created. this way, you are building that constant recurring contact with them. So each new person that you're picking up, it's not just a shot in the dark, and if they don't buy something, then it's gone and wasted forever. You still have another chance at perhaps landing a sale with that person again and again and again into the future when they're actually engaged with one of your Facebook properties here. So this is kind of the whole point of why people that are Amazon affiliates would actually want to spend the money for advertisements. Now, there are some different strategies that I will typically use when I am creating these ads. I like to keep the ads fairly simple. You know, you want to use some type of picture to go along with it that's going to kind of jump out at people. You know, scan through your own sidebar and just notice what jumps out at you. A popular thing that a lot of other marketers do when they're trying to target other marketers with advertisements these days is they're outlining their pictures in a red box just to try to make it jump out a little bit from the other ads that are there. But in addition to that, you know, the text that you're actually using, keep it, you know, again, simple, but you want it to be appealing but still relevant to what you're actually doing. You know, if you're trying to attract people to a Facebook page and you want them to like it, or you want people to join a Facebook group, you know, put that call to action in your actual Facebook ad, or else, you know, you can have a lot of that traffic that ends up getting simply wasted. You want to be able to get the best return possible on whatever you're putting into this. And you don't have to invest a lot. You know, you can run these Facebook ads and set up a campaign that costs as little as like $5 a day. And, you know, you can actually attract hundreds of likes to a page by just running that $5 a day campaign for a few weeks or even just a month or so. Now, when it comes to actually targeting your advertisements, there's something that you can do to give yourself a little bit of an edge over everybody else. And that is the main reason why I actually like to use Google Chrome when I do my Facebook advertising, because I want to create custom audiences that I can actually target with my advertisements. Now, just to show you right here, I'm going to go in to manage some of my advertisements here. And over here on the left-hand side, you can see this Power Editor. Click on the Power Editor. This is actually the section of the Facebook ads that you simply cannot get into unless you're using Google Chrome. So this is what I was actually referring to earlier when I was talking about that. Now, right here, I click on Audiences. And as you can see, I already have some custom audiences set up in my account. The list even goes a little bit further down below. And again, this is just one of my 3 Facebook accounts that I use. Now, the whole deal with these custom audiences is that I'm picking these people out personally from anywhere on Facebook that I want to. And I'm actually making a list of them. I'm putting a Facebook ID number in a notepad file, 1 per line, and uploading these files to this page by just going right here and going to create audience and just click on custom audience right here. And then I simply click on UIDs right here, and I choose my file and I name it however I want to. Now, this file that we're uploading with all the UIDs in it, I'm going to show you guys how you can actually create this file and how you can actually obtain these UIDs from pretty much any type of niche you would like to. And it's all a matter of going out there and finding them. Now, there are ways that you can target advertisements without using these custom audiences. But ultimately, when you're doing that, you're using the same type of targeting that all of the other advertisers out there are using. You're specifying countries that people live in, and age groups, and some different types of demographics for them. You're even given a place where you can put people's interest, and you can target advertisements based on their interest. But ultimately, you're still stuck using the same exact targeting as everybody else. And the interests that are on Facebook automatically are not necessarily going to cover every single thing that is out there, because ultimately those interests are based off of Facebook fan pages. So you have, for example, for Amazon affiliates, there is an Amazon Associates Facebook page, and roughly 40,000 people have liked it. So as an advertiser, if I wanted to target other Amazon affiliates, I could target those 40,000 people, but that's going to be the same exact 40,000 people that everybody else out there would be targeting that would want that same type of customer. But there are still going to be other people on Facebook that are Amazon affiliates but have not necessarily liked that particular Facebook page. So some of the only ways that you can actually get those people is to find them yourself and to build these custom audiences with those people. Now, to actually accomplish this, I'm going to jump back here to my Facebook page for just a second and use this as an example. Look up here at the URL for my page. It says facebook.com/Ryan Stevenson Marketing. Well, I'm going to double click right here on the www, and I'm going to change this to the word graph, G-R-A-P-H. And then I simply hit enter. This actually gives me information about my Facebook account. This tells me my user ID. This is the UID that I was just talking about for the custom audiences. So now all I have to do is copy this UID right here and just paste it into a notepad file. Go to a new line, and then I could continue on finding additional people and paste in their UIDs, one per line, so on and so forth. And when I'm done, I save this file, and then I go into the Power Editor and upload this file as my custom audience. Now, these custom audiences, you can still try to target within those audiences. So you could just say, I want to create a Facebook ad using this audience, but I only want it to target the people that are in the US. However, you could try to manually weed all those people out. So you only had a audience that was solely built off of people from the US perhaps. And you can do that by looking at this locale right here. This can give you some kind of indication as to where they live and also what language they speak, or at least what might potentially be their primary language. So right here, EN would be English, and I live in the USA. So, you know, anything EN US right here, these would be your USA audience people. However, you can just go through and collect all the UIDs and simply make a list of them and do your targeting later automatically with the Facebook advertising system. Now, you might be wondering, okay, well, how do I go out and find all of these UIDs? How do I find people to collect these UIDs from? Well, the answer to that is pretty simple. You simply go search around on Facebook, and you want to find any type of place on Facebook where people interact with each other. This could be different kinds of Facebook pages, like other fan pages, for example. You know, if I wanted to get Amazon affiliates again, you know, I could go to like the Amazon Associates page right here, and I could actually look at posts that they have made, and I could look at people who have left comments on the post, for example. So this person left a comment. They're obviously an Amazon affiliate, so I could simply open up their Facebook page and do this and get their UID off of it. So whatever your potential niche is, just try to find something relational to that niche on Facebook itself, and that is where you get your people from. Now, your fan pages like this, you know, going through and collecting UIDs off of comments manually, it can be a fairly slow and tedious process because, you know, you're doing all this manually. Thank you, Zalema. That's golden information. It is really useful, even though it takes a little bit of extra time to put this together. If you ever get into Facebook advertising, whether it's now or even years down the road, this same concept should still apply and be very effective. Now, the people that you're collecting here that post comments on Facebook fan pages, as long as they're, you know, good comments where people are actually saying useful information, interacting with one another, you know, a lot of times those are going to be your most valuable potential people that you can target, because they're, number one, obviously already active on Facebook itself. They're active on specific Facebook pages that are relational to your niche, and the things that they're posting are good, useful content. So if you could get those particular people to your own fan page or to your own Facebook group, then, you know, those are going to be the best people who will help to stir up conversation on your own pages as well. And you can find those people, again, by grabbing them off of other relational pages. If they've made a comment on another relational page, you might be able to get them to do the same on yours as well. The only downside, again, is you have to do this manually to get all these different UIDs. Wish I didn't have a lingerie picture there staring at us. Now, there is one last thing that I would like to show you guys, and this is actually not something that I included in the guidebook, because these guidebooks will end up getting into others' hands, and they may not necessarily also be seeing these live courses or the videos from these live courses. So I wanted to have a little something extra just for you guys that everybody else would not get access to. And that is actually an extra little tip that I have for collecting UIDs, but not only that, I actually have an extra little software tool, so to speak, that you're going to be able to use to help to automate this process for you. Now, to show you what I'm talking about, I first need to go and find a Facebook group. This strategy only applies to Facebook groups. So I need a Facebook group that has people in it that might have some kind of an interest in what I'm doing. My own Facebook group, my fan page, or perhaps my website. So there's actually not a lot in the way of down comforters for groups. I believe I have the first down comforter group. There is another fan page already out there, but again, I need a group for this particular purpose. So if I can't find something for my niche, I will try to get a little bit more general. I could search in home and garden related groups, or I could also try to find something perhaps bedding related. Now, as you can see, when I'm searching right here, I get all kinds of different results. I'm getting Facebook fan pages, I'm getting places, I'm getting, sometimes groups in here, but what I'm actually looking for is nothing but groups. So I click at the very bottom here, see more results for whatever I'm searching on, and this takes me to an additional search page, and then I can just click on groups right here and actually find nothing but Facebook groups then that I could target. So all I would have to do now is to pick any one of these groups that I felt like would be full of people that would be interested in what my group is about, or my niche, or my fan page, or my website, some kind of connection to whatever it is that I'm doing. So, this could really be anything. As you can see here, I've got like a group for, it's bedding for sale. It's just for Ireland. This may not be the most ideal thing, but just as an example. Now, number one, this is a closed group. I can't get in this group unless the administrator approves me to get in this group. And number two, there's over 3,000 people in this. Well, I don't need the group to be open. What I'm going to do is just simply visit this group page right here by clicking on it. And you get this little brief list of members right here. So you have some initial people that you could try to go and view their page and extract these UIDs manually from this particular list right here. And then again, you also have like the administrators of this page. Well, this is obviously not 3,400 people listed right here. To get all those people, you would have to click See All right here. Now, when you click on See All, this expands the list and will actually show you many, many more people. When you get to the bottom, there's a See More button, and you can click on that, and it will load up another group of people for you. And you can continue to repeat this process over and over again until it doesn't show you a See More button anymore. And then it's showing you all the members of that group in this one single list right here. So what I'm looking to do, again, is to continue through this process until See More does not show up at the bottom after I have just loaded up a new group of people. However, for the purpose of this tutorial, I don't need to get necessarily everybody off of this list. So I'm just going to stop at that point. I've gotten 4 different groups of people. Scroll down on this particular list here. Now all I'm going to do is select the text down at the bottom here. I'm down here on this last listing, and I'm going to scroll back up to the top and click up here above this picture while holding down the Shift button on my keyboard. And this is actually going to select all of these people on this page. Now what I'm going to do is I'm not going to copy this information because that would just copy all the text that is actually on this page. But instead what I'm wanting to do, and another reason here why I want to be using Google Chrome, because I find this a little bit easier to do with Google Chrome, is I want to click on Inspect Element right here. Once I have done this, this actually shows me the HTML coding for this entire page. Now, if I hover over a particular part of this HTML, you can see it gets highlighted on the page above. If I continued scrolling, I'd actually be highlighting stuff further down this list here, so you may not be able to see it. But by just hovering over these items right here, you can see that each of these corresponds to a different person that is on this list. Well, I'm actually wanting to go just a little bit higher than that. So I'm going to go to the top of this list of people, and this next level that's right up above here, I'm going to shrink that down so I don't see that long list of people anymore. So now when I'm hovering over this, it shows basically everybody selected here, but it's not actually everybody. There's actually a few different sections to this. Let me scroll down to the bottom here real quick. Now I'm at the bottom of the list, and if I hover over this last item, you can see that it's highlighted down here at the bottom of the list. So each of these sections right here actually corresponds to the 4 different sections of people that were loaded up on this page. The first one are all of the initial people that were loaded on that page by default. And then every time I continued to click the See More button, it loaded another group for me. So if I had clicked See More 20 times, then there would be 20 of these listed right here. Well, now what I'm looking to do is I want to take this information right here, and I want to extract the UIDs from all of these people, and I don't want to do it manually. I want to do all this automatically. So I've actually created something for you guys that you can use for this exact purpose. I have this set up on my actual web page, and as long as this script is not abused, I will continue to leave access to this up, so you guys are free to use it for your own personal usage to help you build custom audiences on Facebook for whatever reason you see fit. Now, by not abusing it, what I'm really referring to here is, don't sit here and load too much content into this box all at one time over and over and over and over again. It can slow my server down. If I see this page getting a lot of loading on it, I will have to figure something else out to do. If need be, I'll distribute this file to all of my trainees and allow you guys to upload it on your own servers. but I thought it might just be easier to allow you to use it directly off of mine. Now, by not loading up too much content all at once, what I'm referring to here are these different sections. The different sections that are created each time you click on See More. You can't just take all of this and load it into this page on my site all at one time. You have to do this essentially one, maybe a maximum of 2 sections at a time. So what I'm referring to here is these sections once again. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to click on this last section right here just to show you. I'm going to right click on it and I'm going to go up here and click on Copy as HTML. So I'm copying the HTML code from this entire last section of people. Now what I'm going to do is come back over to this page and I simply want to paste this HTML coding. Again, if you paste more than 1 or 2 sections of this HTML coding at the most into this page at a time and do this repeatedly, you can potentially slow this page down and even my server, and I will have to cut access off to it. But as long as you guys just punch in 1 or 2 sections of people at a time, there won't be any problems, and I will leave this up for all of you guys to use. Now, all you have to do, again, is copy that HTML, paste it into this box, and then just click on this process button right here. And my script will do all the work for you. I now have a list of user IDs that is generated directly from that HTML code that I just pasted in. So now I can go back over here to my Notepad file and I can paste in all those user IDs. And then I can just go to a new line. I can copy a new section of code right here. Go back to my website. Go to the box again. Paste in this second section of code. Click on Process again. And now I have a completely different list of people. So I simply repeat this process over and over again for each of these sections of HTML code, and I have now stripped the user IDs of everybody in that particular group that I was looking at. Thank you, Linda. She said second time around taking this class, and I still think that script is amazing. Thank you, Linda. I appreciate that a lot. You're quite welcome. This is something to help save you guys a lot of time, and even if this is not something that you'll use right away, eventually you'll want to start advertising on Facebook, and when that time comes, you'll know exactly how to start targeting not just ideal people, but the exact people that you want to be targeting. Who better to target for your own Facebook group on a subject than people who have already joined another Facebook group on that subject? They would be the most likely people. So then when you set up those advertisements, you get better click-through rates on your advertisements, and ultimately you get to pay less per click because the more effective your ads are, actually Facebook will charge you less per click on them. Oh, you missed that first time around, Stan? I was thinking you were there. I could be wrong though. Good to see you, Stan. Will also will being quiet again tonight. Shocking. Now, this page here, I didn't give you the URL before. I will add this into, okay, you didn't remember the site address. I will add this into the chat box for you. And Again, you can also see it on the screen, and I'll also repeat it for you here. It is ryanstevensonplugins.com/FB, as in Facebook, -process-2.php. I had a first version of this. It really is still up. It'll provide you duplicate numbers. So this second version helps to weed out duplicate numbers there in each list that you create. So again, just visit this address here and you can punch in the HTML code. Again, this only works for Facebook groups. You have to go through this exact process here. If you just start pasting in random HTML code into that page there, it's not going to give you what you're looking for. It's just it's only designed for this one particular purpose, to scrape the user IDs off of these Facebook groups in the manner that I've shown you here. So yes, process 2 should weed out the duplicates for you. Not from one list to the next, but it should be weeding out the duplicates from each singular list. However, if you're just going through on one Facebook group right here, and you have a number of different lists that you have to process, you shouldn't have any duplicates from one list to the next. But the reason, what I mean by duplicates here, is if you actually break down, there might be an easier way to show you this real quick. Let me copy this HTML. If you actually break down the HTML code that gets created from all this, pretty complicated looking stuff, but each person's user ID, as you can see right here, the user ID is contained somewhere within this HTML coding here, but it actually occurs 2 different times for each user. And the reason why that happens is because you have the image right here linked to the person's profile, but then you also have their name right here linked to the profile as well. So the process 2 version of that particular script simply ensures that there aren't any duplicate user IDs showing up in there. Any additional questions for me as far as how to actually use this? Anything about perhaps Facebook advertising itself, or even anything that I was covering earlier in tonight's lesson? Now, when it comes to actually creating your advertisements, the purpose of this tutorial was not really to go through and teach you how to create Facebook ads. They're pretty straightforward, really. Once you have those custom audiences actually built here in this Power Editor, then you can just go to the top corner and just go to Create Ads, and then you just provide whatever URL it is that you're wanting to promote, like your Facebook fan page or your group page or whatever it is. And then you just give a brief description. You select your targeting. You can select your pre-built custom audiences from that page to get your advertisement all set up. And then everything else is pretty straightforward, setting, budgeting. A lot of times I will actually let Facebook control my actual cost per click for me. I'll just set a daily budget on my advertisement, but then the cost per click is controlled by Facebook itself. I do this when I'm using custom audiences, when I'm expecting a higher than average type of click-through rate. on that advertisement because I know the people I'm targeting are highly likely to be interested in it, then by allowing Facebook to adjust my cost per click, I can get more clicks and end up paying less for them in the long run using that strategy. Now, the next class, guys, will be on YouTube and Google marketing. It's actually just a Google class altogether. Technically, YouTube is part of Google. You just get to create one Google account, and it takes care of everything. Sure, Stan. Can I go into sidebar ads versus news feed ads? As far as like on Facebook here, right here in the main part of the page, you know, when you're viewing your news feed, you obviously have normal posts that people make in here, but I should be able to find one if I scroll for a few. Yeah, I believe I have one down here. Sponsored right here. There's a little sponsored link that shows up next to it. And this is actually showing up not just in my news feed, but in news feeds of other people. And it's not something that I came up here and posted as a status update. And it's also going to people that I may not necessarily have any kind of contact with whatsoever. It could be friends of my friends, it could be friends of people that have liked my page, or it could be people that I have put together in a custom audience, for example. So I could be targeting anything here. Am I going on the marketer's cruise, Will? I highly, highly doubt it. I'm not one of those quote unquote like lifestyle marketer type of guys, like the ones that'll make a bunch of money and go out and like buy a fancy car and stuff like that. Like I need to adopt my own term for what kind of marketer I am, and oh yeah, I know who that guy is. Like feel same. No, I don't believe I will be going to that. I do the family thing. I'm, you know, married with 3 kids. If I'm going on a cruise, I'm going on a cruise with my wife. Stan, when you're creating your ads, certain kinds of advertisements are not eligible to show up in news feeds. Your standard ads will be your sidebar ads over here. So obviously, you know, any kind of advertisement can be shown over here, but only certain kinds of ads can show up in the left-hand side here. And it really just kind of depends on what you're doing. If you make a post, let me get back here. If I make a post on my Down Comforter Guide fan page, then I can actually promote this post. It won't allow me to do it now, I believe because of when I actually posted it. It's not like a recent post or anything, but as you're posting something or even right after you've posted it, you'll have an option to boost or promote your post, and you can actually set it up like that. That's when it will show up, one example at least, of when it will show up as a newsfeed ad. So that's actually what this is right here. This is from my business page for Ryan Stevenson plugins. So I have down here at the bottom, you know, you can see on some of the old ones, Boost Complete, where I simply set up what kind of budget I would like, and it increases the amount of people that can see it. And actually, this type of thing brings in, when you boost your own posts that you make on your fan pages, it can help to bring in a lot of new likes on your page, because people actually will like these newsfeed stories a lot more commonly than they will click on a like button for something that's over here in the sidebar. Like right here up at the top, you can see this one has a like button. You know, people are a lot more likely to come through here and click on like here, or even proceed on to my page and you know, like it off of here or something of that nature. But then in addition to that, certain kinds of ads that you just create by themselves through right here, when you're just creating an advertisement this way, some of these ads can also be eligible to be run as a newsfeed story. Actually believe that they kind of select that automatically for you if it qualifies, but you need to be promoting something on Facebook basically for it to allow you to do that if you're creating the ad directly through, you know, this create ad page here. Any additional questions for me tonight, guys? That was a good one, Stan. I appreciate that. I'm sure others out there will be wondering the same thing. It looks like a number of people are not here this evening that are normally in attendance, perhaps because it's Sunday night.